Hey, you guys. It's almost the end of December. I can't believe how fast this month is gone. So I am where I am now. It's been a weird couple of months. I haven't really had words for it. My mom's watching TV in the other room, so I'm sorry if that picks up on the video. I haven't wanted to talk a lot in the last few months because it's a weird thing going on, and I'm scared when I do talk about it. If I'm talking about a particular dynamic of it, everybody's going to want to take that and put it in one little box and run with it. And I don't want that. Because tomorrow I'll feel a different way. And the day after that. Because my situations are always multidimensional like that. So if I'm talking about one aspect of it, maybe I want to talk about one part of it that I'm pissed off about. Or maybe I want to talk about one part of it that I loved. Or maybe I want to talk about, you know what I'm saying? And people will take that and they'll sum up your whole life with that one video or that one mood. And they'll make all these judgments about it that they don't know. Oh, it must be that. Wrong. But I know that human beings we get stressed and we get overwhelmed. And in order to keep our sanity, a lot of times people do simplify things. They can't handle seeing that much at once or comprehending that much at once. And as we do evolve the levels of consciousness, as we work on our emotional and spiritual growth, as we do awaken, and like I said, our consciousness expands and we ascend the levels of consciousness, we begin to realize, oh, okay, now I get it. That's why we're not allowed to incarnate with all of the knowledge. I get that now. That's why we aren't allowed as humans to really be able to sense everything at once, to feel everything at once, to see everything at once. That we as a soul, we as an ongoing energy are fully capable of in our entirety. I really believe that. I really don't think that we incarnate all the way. I don't think our full energy incarnates into this human existence. I know this isn't going to be for everyone, but it's what I want to talk about today because I like talking about this kind of stuff, so whatever. But don't get me fucked up and don't get it twisted. I've had people that think they can manipulate me and fucks with me because I am a spiritual person and because I enjoy these types of topics and theories and thought patterns. Don't think for 1 second you're going to fuck with me, okay? Because if I need to, I can flip right back down into this earthly bullshit and we can get bullshit to talking if we need to. Just don't. I don't like people like that. Those are opportunists. Those are predators. They're waiting for any moment to catch you off guard, to catch you being more open-hearted and gentle and in that good mood, dreaming of the clouds and talking about spiritual things, and then they come swooping in for the kill. Yeah, I had somebody like that in my life. They don't fucking like it when you can see their ass, and when you put a stop to that shit, they don't appreciate it at all. They don't like that. It bothers them. It fucks up their plan for you. when they think they're going to treat you that way, and you stop them in their fucking tracks. Don't ever assume that because someone is spiritual, because someone speaks on different theories, or they have the power, that's right, and the strength to allow themselves to become vulnerable, to feel things deeply, that they're fucking gullible and stupid, and that you can swoop in for the kill, because you got me fucked up. You shouldn't assume that all the time. Careful with that. But let me tell you something about that vulnerability. Let me tell you something. If you can't do that, if you can't do your work here in this dimension, I can't. It's too painful. I can't face it. I can't take accountability. I can't do that work. I just want to get fucked up. I can't. Listen, if you can't do that work, then don't be fucking jealous of the ones who will and who can. And don't be jealous of the gifts that they unlock because of it. And that's just the way I see that. That's what I personally have learned and experienced. That there are people that are not willing to do the fucking hardcore emotional work that some of us will do. They run from it. Whatever way they have to run from it. But they want to sit up and be pissed off when they don't have the same strength, the same gifts, the same outcome, the same knowledge that gets them through life, and they're sitting up wondering why their life is a puddle of piss, and why nothing ever works out for them when they come up with these harebrained ideas that they don't think through, and they won't stop and do the actual foundational work. They want to skip steps. Oh yeah, I was with somebody like that for a long time. They want to skip way up here. Okay, they want all the accolades, all the credit, all the benefits, but they don't want to do any of the fucking gut-wrenching work along the way to build themselves up. They don't want to do the real work. They just want fucking credit for it. They want the instant outcome. Tough shit. That's why you're not allowed to access your gifts. You can't open the gifts until you can do the fucking hardcore work. Then you can get the gifts of some of that other shit. The gift of sight. Tapping into your ESP. Tapping into whatever, your higher intuition. You can't access higher empathy. You can't access that shit if you can't do the work. The work here in this dimension. In the physical. What the fuck do you think you even came here for? And you're trying to avoid the work that you signed up for? Oh, I got a headache. This video might not be for everybody, so if it's not for you, go ahead and click off, okay? Sometimes I just need to talk. I just want to talk some shit. Take it, let it resonate with whoever it resonates with for whatever it needs to resonate for, and if it doesn't, it's okay. But yeah, I am where I am right now, and it is what it is. A lot has happened to me. And so I have to deal with everything at once. And if I tried to explain it to you, how I understand it, oh my God, if I even tried to explain it to my therapist, if I've tried to explain it to anybody, it's very hard to get it out. And they would probably just look at me like, okay. Okay. What's that code? 5150? What is the code? But I do have people that understand these types of things. You know, people I talk with about stuff like this. It's no big deal. But here's what people need to understand. You know, we all have our certain set friends that we can talk to about certain things and that we all find interesting. But for the general public, we probably wouldn't talk about those things, okay? It's just whatever. We have that, right? But here's what we do need to understand. Here's what gets some people tripped up and fooled and in trouble. get this. Just because someone speaks about something and they like to mull over, for lack of a better word, they like to examine that theory, and they like to go get carried away with talking about it and examining it, and just because somebody discusses certain things and they say, well, that resonates very deeply with me, that doesn't mean they live their whole fucking life based on that. Does that make sense? Cool. It doesn't mean that when the shit hits the fan, that person isn't going to use critical fucking thinking. Not for me, anyway. I can sit here and talk to you guys about spiritual shit all day long. It doesn't mean that when I go out in this motherfucking real world, that I'm floating away in a little fucking cloud somewhere, and that I'm not going to be on my shit and have to hustle in the fucking streets and use my fucking judgment and my critical thinking. Derp! That is where some people get confused. It confuses them. Especially predators. Especially manipulators. When you're, they look at you, they want to look at you like, oh, what a soft and sweet little target. Isn't she sweet? And she just talks about all these spiritual concepts and yada, yada, yada. She's a great target. We could make her believe anything. Let's go after her. Quit! Isn't that kind of the same thing you narcissists do? You manipulators? Predators? Is that not similar to what y'all do? When you love bomb people and you act all fake and shit? Basically, it's just like you get a taste of your own fucking medicine when you run up on somebody like that, like me. It's basically like it blows up in your face, your plan. Is that not similar to what y'all do? You kind of put off one vibe on the exterior. You wear a mask. And then when you lure people into your life, or you coerce and manipulate and get people to let you into their life, you become a totally different fucking person. You let that fucking mask down, you let them see who you really are. Characteristics that you kept from them in the beginning that you did not disclose. So, is it kind of not similar? Except with us, we are actually being authentic. Everything that we talk about, every energy that we have, we're actually walking in our authentic self. Whereas you're not. You're putting on an act. But it's still kind of funny to me how similar it is. That when you get into our life, see, that was you. It wasn't us sitting up being fake wearing a mask. It was us just being who we are. Kind, considerate, full of integrity, love, and also telling you right up front, I'm nothing nice and I am nothing to fuck with. So don't try it. Don't come in here with your games into my life. Other than that, we'll get along wonderfully. We're just being in our authentic self. And then when you get into our life and you start pulling that bullshit, the fucking rug gets pulled out from under you and you get fucking confronted and you wonder, what's up? What happened? It's kind of similar, except we don't pull the bait and switch. That's all true to our personality. And we tell you straight up that that's who we are. Every fucking bit of it. You guys, on the other hand, you're fake, false posers. Hiding under a mask. Playing any character, any role that you can to get in someone's life. And then you can't help it. None of that shit is actually true to your character. So it doesn't last long. Within a few weeks, we start seeing a different side of you and we're like, burp? What is this? Who are you? None of that is authentic to you. So you can't really maintain that fake act, that loving, charming, caring, You can't go deeper with it and for the longer haul, whereas we can. Because everything that we presented to you in the beginning was real. Good, bad, and everything in between. It was all authentic. And we can maintain all of that throughout. And we do. But it's just, you guys don't expect it when we come at you with that shit, that we're not going to fucking take it. And a lot of predators or narcissistic people or manipulators, they're not prepared for a seer. Now see, that's a whole different category. You're not prepared for a seer. Somebody who's on that level. I mean, a lot of it's just common sense. A lot of it's just common sense. Just being able to see some bullshit for what it is. It's just, most people have that common sense. They can see when somebody's full of shit. Most people, most of it's nothing extraordinary. But when you get involved with somebody who can read energy, I think it's so fucking funny for the narcissists and the manipulators and the game players when they get involved with somebody who can read energy, who is a seer, who can't be fucked with. There's no bullshit you can pull. Now, they might let you get by with it. I was that way. But I knew, and I called it out all the time. I see you. I see you. But I'm going to give you a chance to work on that. So, yeah, but it's tough, guys, when you see everything at once, okay? When you see it in all dimensions, on all levels. But as you do start to grow in your spirituality and ascending the level of consciousness, for me personally, I began to realize, oh, fuck, that's why. That is why we cannot incarnate with everything. Have you guys ever heard that before? I know you have. That we only incarnate with about 10% of our energy. It's true. I believe it. Because the older you get, the more you ascend the levels of consciousness, the more you work on aligning with your higher self, the more you do your spiritual work, the more you begin to see in too many dimensions at once. You're vibrating on different frequencies and different levels of consciousness, and the more you begin to see everything at once, this earthly dimension and how we're living here and what we're doing here and how that needs to be carried out, and then other dimensions and how we're living there and how our energy, what the plan is there and how it's affecting here, and it's too much to put to words, and that's baby shit. Imagining where it goes from there, I can't in this physical form. I can't. It would explode. My brain would explode. I can't handle it. Now I know. I'm being gifted. I've been gifted, each level over the years as I work on myself, and I had my first spiritual awakening when I was about 30. That's when it really started for me. Although I've always been a spiritual person since I was a kid. I gravitated towards the occult and astrology and reading about different things and whatnot. But really, around age 30 is when I really started opening up. And I started really making changes to my life, to my personality, evolving in my emotional intelligence, more empathy, less narcissism, really taking action. I woke up. I became aware of myself. Like, wow. Whoa, what have I been doing all this time? I need to make some changes. I don't like how, And that's 16 years ago. And every few years I ascend more and more. I learn more and more. I read, I study, I grow. I go through things with people. Certain key players are sent into my life to help with my awakening and my ascension, and vice versa. I do believe that's why we came together. We come together with certain key players in our life. And throughout that process, well, you grow more and more. You see more and more, and you are rewarded. You are gifted with more and more sight as you master each step of the way, each part of your process. whatever your path is. I believe they call it Dharma, working the life lessons that you planned. I'm not quite sure, but I'm still kind of getting that one down. But more and more will be revealed to you as you pass certain tests and you master certain things and you continue to do your work. And so I'm being gifted lately with downloads. That's what I call it. You'll hear that in spiritual communities. Downloads, spiritual downloads. It's almost like a telepathy. It's like nobody tells you, nobody's talking to you. You just kind of know it. Like the clairs, like clairsentient, clairaudient, clairvoyant. I always have that clear knowing, clear feeling, just knowing kind of thing. But that's what a download feels like. It's like suddenly the knowledge is there and you get it. You're one more step up. You're like, oh. And I would always call those realizations. Now I get it. I was getting spiritual downloads. I would call them realizations. Same thing, pretty much. Where like a light bulb goes off in your brain and something that you may have intellectually known for a long time, might known of it, but something about it just didn't all the way click with you. And then one day, like a light bulb, you get it. You get it all the way. You feel it in your core when it starts to really resonate with you. You've mastered it. And then you can articulate it back. You're set. It's good. I'm sure y'all have had that experience, but I feel like every human's gifted. I feel like every human being has gifts. Absolutely. Talents, gifts. I don't feel like every human uses their gifts. I don't feel like every human taps in or opens themselves to receive and to transform their gifts and use their gifts most efficiently. No, not everybody's tapped in. Not everybody wants to use their gifts. Just the way it is. But I'm going to clip this video in a minute because I don't like them to get too long. And then I'm going to do a part 2 to this because I didn't really have a specific topic. It's just I really wanted to express this energy. This is that abstract energy that's always inside of me that it's so hard for me to put words to, but that I don't want to keep inside, that I want to be able to share and get it out there, and it's been really hard for me. So I'm glad to be able to do this video. Even if it doesn't make much sense to anybody, it will make sense to somebody. I'm sure that somebody else out there feels this way and struggles with this kind of stuff. But yes, it's really difficult when you see everything going on at once. So it's like, here's how I understand it for me personally in my life. That this particular situation that in this dimension is pissing me off, it's triggering me, it's caused me all this pain, it's not working out a certain way. Okay, in this dimension, earthly dimension, whatever, I need to handle that in a certain way. I'm going to look at it like, oh, well, this shouldn't be happening, and I've got to take certain actions to keep this from happening, and I've got to learn certain lessons because of this, and, well, I don't want to live like that, so I'm going to do this, this, and this. You see what I'm saying? Okay, in that dimension, that's how that's going to go, and that's how it should go. That's how we have to operate here, and it's going to play out like that. But in a different dimension of consciousness, or on the spirit realm, in a spiritual perspective of it, it's a whole different thing. It's like there are so many different feelings and so many different thoughts about that kind of thing. It's that feeling of this had to happen. This was actually done out of extreme love and agreements, either soul contracts or agreements, karmic debt, if you believe in that sort of thing, lots of different things. That those certain key players had to come into your life and they loved you enough to agree to do it in the other realms, in the other dimensions, or possibly before we incarnated. These agreements were set up, but we do have free will once we get here. It could go either way. There are choices that can be made. We have free will. But I do kind of feel that way. And knowing all of that at once, you talk about cognitive dissonance. You think the cognitive dissonance is bad, just looking at it in a one-dimensional way. Okay, I have a toxic relationship. I'm trauma bonded. I'm codependent. I'm involved with a narcissistic alcoholic addict. I love this person, but they're just not getting better, and I'm completely trauma bonded. I am completely codependent. I really need to leave, but I just love them so much, and I'm so trauma bonded. I feel like if I work harder, they'll see my love for them, and they will finally give me their approval. That's the trauma. Okay, you get it, right? If I just keep doing more for them, they'll see me finally. They'll love me enough finally. That's the trauma bond. Yeah, that's what they do to you. Yeah, the addict or the narcissist or whatever. Okay, imagine that one-dimensional box and you see it that way. You know the cognitive dissonance, the torn feeling you feel living like that with just that one thing. That's how I felt. You know how terrible that feels, right? That feeling of living a lie like that. That you love this person, but you know they're not going to change. And that you're giving and giving and giving and pouring out of your energy, and you know it's a lie. You know that in the end they're going to hurt you. They're going to discard you. You know that if you were to stand up and ask for the respect and the love that you deserve, that they would desert you, that they wouldn't give it to you, that if you don't bow down and conform to their control, to their addiction, put up with their shitty mistreatment, that you're nothing to them. And you know you've been living that lie. That creates a horrible cognitive dissonance in your brain. Torn all the time. Living with that. Knowing that it isn't right for you. Knowing that it hurts. But loving it at the same time. And it's horrific. It does a lot of damage to your brain and it causes a lot of trauma. It's hard to get through it. It's hard to get over it. That's just one dimension. That's just one thing. Imagine the cognitive dissonance that you would feel if not only were you going through a situation like that, but you also saw it in other dimensions of consciousness. And you also understood it fully in other dimensions at the same time. On top of that one. That's just third dimensional shit. That's just our earthly bullshit that we have to go through, that we set up, that we planned, that we're carrying out, and we agreed to do it to help each other learn and grow. I don't care if it sounds flaky to you, that's fine. I don't care about judgment. I know who I am. I have all my little spiritual theories and things that I see and feel, and I also have my logic and reason and critical thinking too. And I have to live in both worlds all the time. I have to balance all of that I see, that I feel, that I know. I know there is more to it why we came together like that. My very last relationship. I knew it when it came. But being a person who can see things like that and feel things like that, it's very hard to articulate it to others. And it's very hard to navigate it because there's all of it going on at once. So I just want to give you guys an idea. Okay, I just wanted to put out an intro to this. Now, this is how I personally live. It's how I personally interpret things. I'm not suggesting that you have to, or that it's the right way, or the best way, or that it's even the most accurate way. I'm just saying it's my way, okay? It's my way. It's what rings true for me. It's what I feel and what really deeply resonates most with me, and there are reasons for that. It's not because I chose to just wake up one day and go, I think I'll believe this. I think I'll make up this fantasy because it helps me to cope with reality, or I want to check out of reality, so I think I'll just believe this fairy tale. No, that's not why, okay? Why do you think I live in both? Because I will not allow myself to live in delusions. I will not allow myself to live in fucking denial. That's why I have to walk both worlds, both consciousnesses, both. It's like this, I see it all. Now, this isn't for every human, okay? I personally think that this is why some people's brains actually short circuit or some shit. Like I said earlier, if we were to actually incarnate into this body, into this world, with all of our knowledge and all of our energy, it wouldn't be possible. It just wouldn't fucking be possible. Our mind would fucking just couldn't take it. And I don't think it's crazy at all to think that way. Some of us can see that stuff and feel it, and I don't think it's crazy at all. But this is just an intro, okay? I'm going to do a part 2 and a part 3. It's just an intro. I am still learning and growing and understanding the dimensions of consciousness in, spiritual teachings and schools of thought. It's very interesting. I'm still learning and studying, growing and understanding timeline shifting, all of that stuff. But it does resonate with me. I'm no fucking dumbass. I don't go with anything that doesn't resonate with me. That I haven't somehow felt, seen, had something happen to me that told me this is it. But I've always trusted my own inner knowing. I just have. And I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that I shouldn't. And you can't tell me that it's bullshit either. Because somehow I've survived all this time with it. As a little girl in the fucking streets. Hitchhiking and surrounded by danger all the time as a little bitty girl. Something led me. Something was my guide. So I know what I know and I have what I have. I'm not saying that's for everybody. That's my personal shit. Get your own personal shit. You know what I'm saying? But I have had people who hated on me for my personal shit. You know why? Because they wanted to look at me like some fucking hater